Hey, everybody. Thank you this evening. Thank you for coming along and joining me for the show this evening. Starting a little bit late, having technical difficulties. And I don't know if you know, but there's a lot more people at home. So uh, bandwidth and that sort of thing is eating up a lot more. So it's eating up into us live streamers who try to go live and stream uploads. So yeah, it's a bit of a technical problem. Again, a lot more people are using the internet at home, and gosh, I wish I could do something about that. But hey, you got to stay safe, right? You got to stay quarantined at home. Uh, there's so much going on. You just got to be careful. So, before I get into this evening's guest, right? Let me just give a quick shout out to my sponsors. Uh, Guys, you can go ahead and check out if you have any construction needs. Check out my sponsor at www.gondolahairnet.com. Right, they're a sponsor of the show. They specialize in professional solutions for heavy duty construction. They make flexible covers that you can use and it's made in different types of materials, different colors, and it can be customized with your company logo. So if you're doing it in construction and doing tear downs, destruction, that sort of thing, give them a checkout real quick at www.gondolahairnet.com. So I would appreciate that. They're really good sponsors of the show, and I appreciate them very, very much. And also, guys, check out you can check out the Pika Bunny app for the kindness tracker. So if you got kids at home right now, they are another sponsor of the show. So if you check them out, you can download it through the Google Play, or you can go to the Apple App Store and you can download it from there as well. It's an interactive kindness tool that you can use with your kids. And since most people have their kids at home right now, and you might be looking for something for them to do, check it out. They can learn kindness, manners, all that sort of thing. So check that out, guys. I would really appreciate it. They are sponsors of the show, and I am always thankful for anybody that wants to help out. So without further ado, everybody, let me get rolling. We already have comments coming in. Check it out. So this evening's guest, she's somebody I've been following for a very long time. She is a very talented singer-songwriter. I've seen her come a long way from where she started out at. And it's been amazing to watch her journey become a full-fledged artist. And again, I've followed her music, from very early on, and it's incredible that I get the chance to interview her. So, guys, without further ado, let me introduce you to Sophia Annello. So, hey, Sophia, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, there we are.
Yep,
okay, guys.
You see me?
Yes, we got you nice and clear. So thank you for coming on this evening. I do appreciate the opportunity to get to interview you. And, I'm pretty sure that you're kind of affected the same way everybody else is by everything that's going on, because you were, I believe, going to the Berklee College of Music. Is that correct?
Yep, I got a sweatshirt to
yeah, so
it's my school.
So what were some of the protocols, or what did they tell you guys whenever all this started breaking out and they started doing massive shutdowns and stuff?
Yeah, we were kind of on our toes for a few weeks, because when this all started, it really first started by affecting our spring break trips with the school. So I was supposed to go on this Nashville industry trip, and it ended up getting canceled. And that was the first, oh my God, what's happening? It's time, you know what I mean? So it was crazy. It was sad and it was scary. And there were these rumors going around that school was going to get shut down and we'd have to transfer to online learning. And learning music online is just not the same as learning from your instructors in the classroom. And the amazing part about Berklee is you have these crazy experienced instructors that are just amazing musicians, and I've learned so much from them. So it was kind of sad to leave. At the same time, everyone was kind of excited to go home, but not long. You know what I mean? We thought it would be a few weeks, maybe. Ride it out, but we just don't know. So.
Yeah, and again, a lot of performers out there that even that perform at small time venues, that they can make a pretty decent living doing live shows. And when they have that taken away from them, where does that kind of leaves them up in the air as far as how they're supposed to survive. How are they supposed to, again, because some people, that's their passion, that's what they are as an artist. So going from live show to live show, city to city, doing shows like that, and they get paid to do it, and it may not be tons of money, but it's enough money to keep the bills running and keep those things going. So having that taken away from them, and even somebody like you who's still emerging as an artist, having those platforms go away, because one of the most things that I was shocked is when they canceled South by Southwest. That's a pretty big,
That was huge.
yeah, that's a pretty big festival, and a lot of people, make connections down there. They find, they get discovered down there, and to have that taken away altogether was pretty shocking. So let me go ahead and start with the interview, since we got
Yeah.
most of the stuff out of the way. So, how did you get into, or when did you figure out early on in your life? What point in your life did you figure out you wanted to start um, getting into music and creating music?
I think the point where I realized I wanted to start creating, I started music really young. My parents put me into guitar lessons when I was around 7 or 8. Um, got a purple Daisy Rock guitar, was rocking it, wanted to be Taylor Swift, I was like all about it. And
There you go.
I don't know, from there, me playing in front of their friends, and like slowly, little by little, like I just kind of like emerged into wanting to write songs when I was around like 12 or 13. Um, and then I went to this camp called Interlochen, and it's in Traverse City, Michigan. And it kind of like, I think that's the place where I really realized that I wanted to like pursue music professionally, like as a career.
Yeah.
I was there for about 2 weeks, and I just met all these amazing singer songwriters, and I wrote some of my first songs up there. Um, and it kind of just changed me, like, writing some songs by the lake in Traverse City, Michigan. And it was just an amazing experience, like collaborating with people. And from there, I came home, and I had just moved to Dallas, and I started going around to these restaurants and bars and like giving them business cards and saying, look, I want to play here. Like, I can have an hour set ready or a 2 hour set ready. And it kind of just grew from there. And I
Yeah.
just acquired more venues and put out some music. And
That's pretty.
yeah.
That's pretty awesome, though. That you start out, and again, you know, you're not only just a performer. You're not just a singer. You're also a songwriter, which I think has a little bit more. I might not know, but I'm saying I think it's a little bit more difficult to do both. As a performer, to write your own music from you know the lyrics to coming up with the actual song itself. So how do you start that process whenever you wanted to create a song, or where do you draw the inspiration from to write a song? Like, just out of your head is, maybe where does that come from?
Yeah. Inspiration, I mean, it's different, like, melodically and lyrically. For, like, the actual content of the song, it comes mainly just from life experience. Not that I
Yeah.
have a bunch, but the I do have, I kind of take it, and whatever I'm feeling in that moment, I kinda just write it down, and it's a lot easier for me to come up with lyrics than I think it is melodies. Sometimes one will come first more than the other. I don't have, like, a set process where it just is like, I have to write like this. And the amazing part about this school is like, figuring out how other songwriters, process this material and create it. Um, it's just awesome because I'm learning to create stuff in different ways, and kind of, I feel like I'm flourishing more as a songwriter
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah. So, is it, so do you get, let me ask you, like, this is say, so if you get a melody in your head, let's say, um, is it harder to fish that out and kind of funnel that into like an actual tune, or is it easier to just say, I have all the lyrics set out first, and then find a song or find notes that you can create to song? Because I guess that's always been my question. It's almost like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? So what comes
Yeah.
first, the melody or the lyrics is what I guess what I'm trying to ask you. I mean,
Yeah. I think for me, I've always, up until recently, like I'll be playing with like my guitar and I'll find some chords I really like. And after that, like a melody will kind of just pop into my head. And from there, like it's hard to explain, but for me, lyrics fit into like the melody in my head in a specific way, or I hear like specific words with like that chord or a certain phrasing, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
It really happens like super organically and you can't control it, and that's why you hear about a lot of people having writer's block, and I've had it a million times.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's a hard thing to wrap your mind around, especially if you're not used to songwriting. But songwriting is definitely one of the easier things to me, like more so than performing. I've definitely been trying to work on like performance a lot too. So
yeah. That was because that was one of my questions. What is easier? Because I think there's a lot of preparation that has to go in doing a live performance as opposed to writing a song, simply because, again, there's so much that you have to remember. There's so much, I guess that's why there's so much work that goes into preparing for a live show, is remembering chords, remembering lyrics, and then being in front of a crowd. That's a whole nother thing. So what was that like for you the first time that you actually got in front of a crowd, a huge crowd of people, though, say, 20, 40, 100 people? What was that like the first time going on stage and having to perform in front of that? Because I have a fear of public speaking, so that's kind of scary for me.
yeah, no, yeah, no, it's terrifying, and I have people that I've played with that can attest to me like nervously sweating before shows or whatever. Like I remember I had a really big show um, at this place called Legacy Hall. It's in my town,
Yeah,
and it's really close. And I mean, it's a venue that could probably fit like 2,000 people. It wasn't that many, but it's like a bar restaurant, and it was packed. And I was like one of my first full band shows, so it was pretty terrifying. Before I went on, like my guitar player like was like, we were sitting there sweating, and I was like, I'm gonna like lose it. I don't know if I can do this. Definitely, it gets easier the more you do it, but I still like to this day, have to like tell myself before I go on. It's like you're just kind of sharing your soul on stage, and you're there to entertain, but you're also there to show like what you have and kind of just like pour your heart out to people a little bit with your like original content. So it definitely gets easier every time I do it, and so I really crave those like big performances, and there's a lot that builds up to that. So
yeah. So, and then again, not to pull back the curtain too much, but you have a younger brother that does music as well, right? Very talented guy, still very young in his development as well. But what was that like with you two actually had a you two guys had a performance where you were performing together as a series? I think you did a series of different places as well. What was that like? Having your brother on stage with you.
yeah, honestly, so we did it was about a year ago from today, almost exactly. We did a little Texas tour of this venue called the Rustic, and they have
Yeah,
one in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. And it was, honestly, it was amazing. It was a lot of me kind of like getting him ready in a way, since he hadn't had a lot of live performance experience, but
yeah,
he's so talented either way. I mean, he's an amazing vocalist, and he's got some songs in his pocket. And he definitely added to the show, because it's like, you have a brother sister pair. It was like a really good dynamic. We had fun with it. We were really nervous the first time, but by the third show on the third day, we were like, we got this, and we just had a really good time. He was like kind of
yeah.
moving around with the mic a little bit,
There
so
you go.
it was a good time.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you since you had the more experience, you kind of like led the way as far as, hey, watch, kind of watch what I do the few things here and there. But again, it's like you say, it's practice, 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 That's what's going to make it, it's going to make it a little bit easier. So it's kind of like doing what I'm doing here. I got to practice doing interviews and live streams, that sort of thing. So it gets a little bit easier for you to do. So what kind of, you don't just play one instrument, do you? Do you play different?
I'm not the best piano player. Like maybe I can bust out a few tunes, and I mean the ukulele kind of just transfers over. Um,
Yeah.
we've learned guitar. It's pretty simple.
So, um, what you've learned so far in college, what is the one thing that you're concentrating on while you were up there? What was the one thing that what was your goal as far as wanting to learn something to kind of add to who you are as an artist when you were going up there?
So I was really interested in the songwriting major, and the cool thing about Berkeley is they have this major called professional music, and you can basically take 3 existing majors and merge it into one curriculum to kind of like form your own curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in performance, music business, and songwriting. So I'm trying to get the best of all the worlds up there. There's so much to be offered, and for me, I think it's really important as an artist to be aware of the business aspect of things, like marketing yourself or knowing how to market music in general, and really paying attention to like streaming and royalties and kind of getting your mind behind BMI, copyrights, all of that good stuff. So
Yeah, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. So again, and then as you grow into becoming an artist, so do you have any plans like learning in the like as far as the technical aspect of doing production, controlling, your vocals, that sort of thing?
yeah, I think cute. Do you a cute dog? I bet you have a
Yeah.
really cute dog. You have a cute dog. Yeah, no, production wise, I've never been super good at production. When everyone that gets to Berkeley has to take a class called Intro to Music Tech,
Yeah.
and it's not the best class, it's not the most fun class, but you definitely like learn your way around Pro Tools and all of the different programs. So after getting like exposure to that, I realized how helpful it would be if I kind of dived more into that. So I think I actually just like came up with this today, but it's a personal goal to try to get better at that. I'm trying to create a home studio, the downstairs in my house, and have just like a music room where I can go live, do videos, work on production, because I think it's just important to be well versed as an artist,
Yeah.
like know
Exactly.
all of the aspects so you can really like just take your career to the next level, at least know a little bit about everything so that you're just well versed.
Yeah. So, and then I've seen you do a few collaborations. So, do you have any plans to do any kind of anything? I mean, because I've seen you do it with your brother, and I've actually seen you do it with a few other people. So, was that one of the things that you kind of were, testing yourself on or growing into while being up there in college? And I know it sucks that you don't get to be up there, but uh, you know, I just want to know because I love to see when people collaborate and they have two different styles. Like say, so what would you say more is more your style? Are you more like harmonize, or are you, you know, because again, I like seeing again. I'm just asking because I'm a fan of your music.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, you know, so because I like that style of music actually. So I'm more versed in what you do than opposed or
yeah,
like what your brother does. But I do like your music more. If I
thank
have to
you.
say, not to be not to
No, it's
pick.
okay. It's all right. It's one or the other usually. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, it's definitely more. I would say like indie folk, maybe like acoustic pop. Sometimes
Yes.
it's constantly changing, and I'm like trying to figure out my genre. It's funny because like I'm super into like country folk right now, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of drawing from that. And I think this upcoming next single is definitely going to be more like Casey Musgraves esque kind of thing.
Oh
Um,
man, I love that because that's
yeah, it's my favorite kind of wheelhouse, and I think I've always like wanted to be like here. I've always wanted to not be an artist that is like constricted to one genre. Kind of want to like break barriers, do whatever I'm feeling. Like I'm inspired by like Joni Mitchell's like My Idol, Natalie May from the Dixie Chicks, very full.
yes.
So
Yes, and again, I heard you a few times here on the local stations on KXT, which is our local indie sort of station around here, and I was impressed because I said that's the kind of style of music that I. That's why I was like so surprised when I first heard you sing, and I go, "Gosh, she's got that style." That's and uh, when I hear you sing and you play guitar and you do it all, and it kind of reminds me of like what I don't know, kind of like what Taylor Swift was doing when she first started out, as far as
Swivel, like
being, because she was into, that was her roots, right? She was
yeah,
country, she was doing bluegrass, that sort of thing, before she kind of again didn't transition into being a mega star, but
right,
um, I still love that sort of music. So I'm a big fan of hers early on as well. But I,
yeah,
I, I love that indie pop, that folksy, that Americana sort of style as far as playing.
yeah, for
So yeah, so that's why I was like, when I first heard you singing these songs, I was like, gosh, that's the vibe I like. It's awesome. Yeah,
you.
and again, it's funny that you guys have such a different contrast between like you and your brother, because he's more, I mean, he's developing his style as well. And I've heard his music, and uh, I don't want like to compare people, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up his ass or anything, but he's got like a Justin Bieber type voice. He's real, you know, kind of like Zayn Malik, those kind of pop star. He's got the quality. He's got the chops. I can tell you that much. And that's just
No,
because I'm a big fan of music. So I listen to everything. When I tell you mean everything, you name it, classical,
right.
indie, world, I listen to it all. And
And
you
I think
know,
that's really important, like when you were talking about kind of like doing duets with Nicholas earlier, is like he brought something to the table in terms of vocals. Like he teaches me stuff vocally all the time, and I draw from him, even though he's younger than me, maybe hasn't done as many like live shows. Like he teaches me something all the time, every time we collaborate on anything, and that was so important with people up at Berkeley too. Is like everyone's changing, evolving, like finding themselves as an artist. And I just think it's so important to like learn from other people because no one knows everything. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like you come across musicians that are like, oh, well, it's supposed to be this way or that way. And it's not. Like everything's changing, everything's evolving, and everyone's finding themselves and just doing what they love.
yeah, and it's pretty cool because like even um, like you did your song "Falling," right, and that's got a different aspect to it, which I loved it because I was like, and then it's different. So it's such a different contrast when you listen to like Torn, right? Torn's got a different.
Yeah, it's
It's got a
definitely
different vibe, a completely different vibe. So if I play those two songs together, you probably wouldn't say that's the same artist, because the ranges and the type of music it is so different. So, um, you know, I'm glad that you don't just try to want to peg yourself as one type of artist. I think I like the fact that you're open about it, and you're
yeah.
receptive to learning those type of things. So, let me ask you, what is in the cards right now? What's in the future going forward after, I guess, all of this madness gets past us for Sophia Annello?
What's in the cards? Well, obviously, I'm at home now and will be probably through the fall. I'm thinking about doing an online semester at home in the fall, which is why I was kind of sad to come back so early. I wanted to really like gig out here and work on like recording a full length album. That's my goal for this year, is to do a full length album. And I started working on it um, before I left Boston. I met this new producer that went to my school and reached out to him, and he's very like, he just got me right away. We clicked and started making stuff, and we're gonna work remotely now. I just
Mhm.
talked today, but I was super excited about that song. It's very Casey Musgraves esque. Is gonna be the goal of this next album. Not to like impersonate anyone, but just to kind of
Yeah,
a
because
lot. So
yeah, you're still developing your style. You're
yeah,
still, and again, it can, I've always heard this, and I tell this to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're an artist, a writer, or whatever. Invent yourself as many times as you got to. Reinvent yourself as many times as you have to become whatever it is you want to become.
right.
So if you're, again, Gosh, what was her name? Why is my mind going blank right now? Um, oh, but anyway, she started out as a country artist, and she went into doing pop and rock. So she reinvented her style, and it sucks that it's slipping my mind right now, and I had it written down somewhere, and I can't even find it. But Avril Lavigne, I'm sorry, that's her name, Avril Lavigne, right?
Um,
She started out doing initially. She started out doing country, so you
I
can
did
go
not
back.
know. That's
Yeah, so you
insane.
can actually go back and find uh, songs that she did when she was younger, doing country, trying to get into music, and she redeveloped who she was as an artist as she went along, and it worked out successfully for her. So that's pretty awesome. That again, you don't have to be stuck with one thing when you start out. Um,
Right.
Pink started out doing R&B, right?
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to a lot of her early stuff, it's got a real R&B vibe to it. Real again, but transitioning and growing as an artist, you learn as you go along, and you start developing your style. I mean, it's not every day that somebody starts out the Beatles. You don't start out as you don't but again, you got to start somewhere, and uh, you could, as an artist, you can create music for the next 40, 50 years, who knows, and your style's never going to be the same from when you started to where you finish. And I like the fact that you can approach it like that. So um, one more quick thing, let me ask you, because it's a pretty interesting question, and it has nothing to really do with just music. I'm a personal friend of your father. I know your dad. Me and him
I
go back.
know.
We go back ways.
Cool.
So how's it like having somebody like him who's been real supportive in your growth in your career as an artist to really push your goals forward? Because some people, they don't have that opportunity, and meeting somebody like Frank, he's a very interesting dude, and this is what spurred me on to try to get you guys on as well, is because
Yeah.
having conversations with him, I'm like, man, I gotta have him on. They're
I
you know
should have
I,
told him. I should have told him to jump in. Like,
oh no, I plan on having him on with Nick, uh
oh,
Nico,
okay.
yes.
That's
So yes, but
yeah, no, for sure. I would not be where I am right now without him. I mean, honestly, there are so many musicians I've met that just don't have the support from their parents to do what they want to do for the rest of their life, because music's not necessarily the most stable life choice. But
yes,
it's just, he acted in college. My mom was a singer songwriter. She did like a record before I was born, and it's awesome. And they're so supportive of the arts and have been just constantly supporting whatever we want to do since they put a guitar in my hands the first day I played. So I mean, and also he's very interested as a personal hobby in the music business. He's the one who like found our manager, and he helped, with social media marketing and Spotify playlists, and taught me a lot about what I know now. And now me going to school, I'm kind of like I'm getting on his level with the music business, but um, he's
yeah,
definitely a big help. I mean, me and Nicholas both wouldn't have the opportunities we do without him. So
yeah, and that's incredible because, again, just to your point, not a lot of if you not a lot of people can go to their parents and say, "Hey, I'm going to become a musician," without them saying, "Wait a minute, that's not a good stable way to go in life. Why don't you be a doctor or a lawyer or
you're right.
yeah, that sort of thing. Go to college to go do that." And I tell him all the time when I talk, and we've had a few chats, is that that's incredible that you do what you do, and that they're helping these kids to grow and become artists. And again, whenever I see somebody helping and supporting and doing that kind of thing, I'm always privy to highlight that kind of person, or that kind of those kind of actions, because it's not very common. And nowadays we need those kind of people. We need those kind of leaders to help push and grow and do those kind of things. So,
Important. It's really
yeah.
important. And he's
So,
been so supportive of all these musicians right now. We're all trying to go live and like put our Venmos in the comments and really trying to make money that we're losing from gigs. And he's been super supportive and watched a bunch of lives and a bunch of people, and we're all trying to support each other. So he's been really good about that. Both my parents are. Shout out to Jen and Kim, and mom and
yeah,
step. They're amazing.
yeah,
They the same amount, so it's awesome. Yeah.
yeah, and that's incredible. And um, I'm 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 very hopeful that we get past this without a lot of collateral damage. And when we do get the opportunity to go back, I get to see you go even further, because I would love to see a full length album from you, because I think you have that talent, you have that voice. I was trying to think of who somebody, and I said, she's got like a Brandy Carlisle. I don't know if you know who Brandy Carlisle is. She is amazing, right?
I I love that. Okay, I'm not going to take a bunch of time with this, but there is a video of her singing "A Case of You" by Joni Mitchell.
Yes.
And I don't know the venue, but it's on YouTube, and it is so amazing. And I watch it like probably every day. No lie, that's
Yeah,
it.
yes, and she's an incredible artist. And it's not like a lot of people don't know who she is, as opposed to like being super out there. But I love that kind of genre and that industry. And she's a Grammy award winning artist. So,
Yeah, she's so talented. I mean, she's as good as anyone out there, and she's
and
so underrated.
yeah, and for me to say, I hear her, and then I can hear something by you and say, okay, you got a lot of those same qualities. And I'm not trying to put those kind of expectations on you, but still, you're an incredible talent, and you're still very young, which is incredible. And because a lot of times, a lot of artists don't find who they are, they don't get started into the music industry until later in life. So you've done a lot of you've done a lot of the background work, and you got a lot under your belt for being, where you are. And I can't wait to see what both you and your brother have going forward, because again, that you both have talents on different sort of levels. And I know he's got a big, huge following on TikTok, and that's pretty.
yeah,
It's,
he's a TikTok man.
yeah, it's
I
pretty.
checked the other day, and I wasn't doing it right, so he didn't let me be in the TikTok.
Yeah. So again, he's pretty big on there, and it's funny because I told my daughter she's seen a few of his videos already, and you know, uh, and I know he was doing some promo work a couple weeks ago in LA, that sort of thing. So I guess he's getting
He's working
he's
on
getting
it still, so
yeah, he's getting that under his belt as well. So
for sure.
man, I want to appreciate you hopping on with me this evening. I appreciate your time, and I know that again we're all here, we're all at home, we're all quarantining ourselves, we're all adjusting to the new normal for right now, I guess it's what you
Yeah,
would call it.
for sure.
So do you got anything planned, as far as doing any kind of small videos, any kind of thing? Like have you been working on content as far as like going live and that sort of thing?
For sure. I'm working on setting up like that music room. Like I told you, I just want it to be my own personal um, space to do everything, to go live, to make videos, to record all this stuff. I'll be going live super soon, either with Joe Van Zant or my brother Nicholas. We do a lot of videos together, so
Awesome.
it'll
Well,
be
you're
fun. I'm excited.
yeah. So, and then there's a comment your pops wrote in there. It says, but Sophia has the most successful TikTok song of both. So, I guess yeah, he's trying to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta come in there and talk about the fall. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty. It's
no,
pretty.
it's incredible.
Yeah, and again, um, all three of you are very interesting to me. Simply because, like your dad, he has the background. When we were talking, he was telling me about all the background of the music and all that stuff that he's gone into. So I kind of told him, yeah, I got to have you on as well. I got to have you on the show. So he's like, you know what, me and Nico will come on, and you can have. He goes, you can have Sophia on by herself because she can handle herself and that sort of thing. So I was like, yeah, awesome. I want to do both. I love it all. So everybody, guys, if you want to go check out her music, you can do me a favor, go to her website, and she's got a lot of her music set up there, right? And then she's also on all these social media platforms. So if you want to go to Instagram, you can find her at Sophia Annello Music there. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on Twitter. So she's got a following herself. So she's not, I believe your YouTube channel has like 27,000. I can't remember the number. I had it written down. You got quite a bit, and it's pretty impressive. So, guys, thank you, Sophia, for hopping on this evening. Gosh, I wish I could. I wish I had the video set up so I could actually have you perform. Maybe I can in future episodes. I'm still working because I'm doing a video production company, and I would love to have you perform and get that out there because, again, I'm a big backer of you. I'm
support, and it's pretty amazing that you're doing all this live show and supporting.
Yeah, and I'm definitely trying to get a lot of local artists and people like that. So again, hey, you got anybody out there who would like to hop on? I would love to spread their word, and because now's the time to get these word outs for a lot of these local musicians and artists like that, because it's hard sledding right now. You can't do live shows, you can't go out, you can't do that sort of thing. So I want to offer the platform to to these people, and have people come on. Let's talk about what you do, what you are as an artist, and go from there, because that's what my show is about. My show is about creative souls. It's about people who create, who can come up with an idea and make you formulate from inside your mind to actual reality. So, you have tons of them. You got you got plenty of music. So I'm pretty sure. Oh, let's see what you see. I'll get in a lot of comments in here now. Let me check that out. Yes. So guys, if you would like to, as my friend Frank says, direct message me. I will definitely reach out to you. I got a lot of open slots next week. I am on quarantine, so I'm not going anywhere. So, I would love to get out there and do shows. And again, I'm working on something, a way to get live streaming to a lot of artists. I think that's a way that you can go out there and help people out trying to get the word out. So, thank you, Sophia. I don't know what else to say. So thank you for all the gratitude for hopping on. And I look forward to having a conversation with you and your dad. And your brother and your father. Yeah, let's have them both on. That's gonna be an interesting aspect, because I've never had 3 people on. That's gonna be new for me. So yes, great interview. Thank you very much, guys. So before I get out of here, let me just give a word about for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show, I have Michael Goldberg on. Me and him actually met at a workshop here locally in Dallas. He is a HR recruiter, but he also does live streaming and that sort of thing. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and just how the business world has changed since they've enacted the stay-in-place ordinance that everybody has to abide by. So, guys, y'all have a great evening. Everything will be in the show notes afterwards. You'll have the link and everything if you want to go back and watch the interview here, and I will be blasting this all over social media, believe me. So, guys, have a great evening. Thank you, Sophia, for hopping on again, and I hope to have you on again soon once all this has gone by. Y'all guys, you have a great evening, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.